Welcome to the Lonato circuit here in Italy, everyone, for the second round of the FIA Karting European Championship for the KZ, KZ2 and Academy Trophy classes. My name's Chris McCarthy. Back alongside me is Guillaume Alvarez. First of all, Guillaume, you weren't with us, a little break from FIA Karting, unfortunately, at Ampfing, but it's great to have you back.
Thank you, Chris. Hello, everyone. Very happy, of course, to be back and to welcome you here in beautiful Italy, in the heart of the region of South Garda. South Garda Karting, definitely one of the best tracks in the world, let's say it frankly. And yeah, it has been a little break for myself, too long maybe, but happy to be back.
Yeah, well, we're set up here in our new extension to our hospitality area. Beautiful place to be to do our live shows. Hopefully we can have this space throughout the rest of the weekend. This unfortunately is going to be the last round for the KZ and KZ2 classes, so we do have two champions which will be decided this weekend. On Sunday we will know that. As for the Academy Trophy, they're going to have their third and final round when we go to Genk for the World Championships for the KZ and KZ2 classes. So a lovely day it is, lovely weekend. Let's get into our first live show. We're going to have these live shows every lunchtime and every evening. If you're new to CIK FIA pages, then make sure you like the Facebook page and keep up to date with our live shows. We have special guests on here. We also talk about stuff from inside the paddock and give you live updates as the weekend goes on. So Guillaume, I guess let's start off by just reminding people of when we are going to be live. You've got the timetable in front of you.
Absolutely, we're going to have a lot of action on track, on this beautiful track all over the weekend. We're going to have qualifying just to kick things off later today on Friday, and then we're going to be live from 10:15, 10:20 in the morning tomorrow Saturday. Live stream, of course, on CIKFIA.tv. Make sure not to miss it. And then we're going to be together, Chris and myself, just to cover up for you what's going to happen tomorrow. Mainly the qualifying heats. Of course, we're going to have a lot of heats before getting into the finals. That's for Sunday. And on Sunday, same timetable more or less, as we're going to be live from 10 in the morning from the last qualifying heat. And then the whole afternoon on Sunday is going to be a beautiful program with the pre-grid, of course, the presentation of the drivers, a lot of action happening on track, and the finals for the three of the category.
Well, we're here in Lonato, as we said. It's been an extremely long time, hasn't it, since we have been here. One thing you did actually is in our championship magazine, we produced one of these at every single round, which goes out to everyone. You did an article about FIA racing at Lonato. It's been too long, really, since we've been here, isn't it?
Yeah, it has been too long. Since 1996, actually, a CIK FIA event didn't take place here on this beautiful track. And it's been more than 20 years. We of course, more than happy to be back with the FIA Karting European Championship, 3 categories. But we of course have to mention one of the top events taking place here on the South Garda karting track, which is the Winter Cup. This is definitely one of the karting events, Chris, that you are very familiar with as well. That certainly is the event for which this karting track here in Italy is certainly the most famous for, you know. And we had this Winter Cup for more than 23 years, with the 23rd edition taking place this year, earlier. So a big event with most of the drivers that we're going to see on track this weekend who took part already in this beautiful competition, such as the European Karting Championship that we're going to see this weekend.
Well, let's talk about the classes. And of course, drivers have been going out for practice already this morning. They've got one more session now as the lunch break is coming to an end. Then we'll be into qualifying practice. So KZ, let's talk about them first. Salisbury race, probably the most dramatic of the classes considering the events that went on. We had Pedro Hilbrand, of course, in the lead, then he hit mechanical failures. We had people crashing into each other. Fabian Federer's been quick this weekend, and Marin Kramers were two drivers that got caught up in incidents. And it left us, of course, with Jeremy Iglesias winning on home soil.
Yeah, it was very impressive all of the weekend. Iglesias still maybe not so happy, maybe qualifying heats, because Jori Pex, we have to mention him, of course, was the fastest after the qualifying heats. He was the fastest in qualifying. So it turned out before the final that Pex could be the top favorite for the win. But things didn't go as planned maybe for Pex, as Jeremy Iglesias, after a fantastic battle, was able to take the win, as you said. And we've seen other contenders, of course, all over the weekend, such as Marco Ardigo and Paolo De Conto, of course, the two Italian drivers being definitely one of the top favorites for the championship. That's what we're going to see this weekend in the KZ category.
Well, just to remind you then, Baz Lammers was another driver that went out there, as was Stan Pex as well. So let's talk about the championship then. I actually have got the standings in front of me here. Iglesias is currently on 31 points, Pex on 30 points. Then we have Ardigo on 24, DeConto on 18, Patrick Hayek on 12. So still a few drivers in contention, but mainly it's Iglesias versus Pex, isn't it?
Yeah, a good battle for the title, as you said, European title, but I'm pretty sure we might expect for this weekend in Lonato some sort of a four-driver battle, maybe, if we involve Marco Ardigo, DeConto, or maybe some others behind, you know. We're not so much lucky at the first round at Salbris. Actually, we're gonna try to recover some ground here in Italy. So that's gonna be very, very interesting.
I'm going to ask you the tough question. Who do you think is going to win? I mean, for me, Iglesias has looked very quick in practice so far. I think he was second in his sessions, and he's never won a title. This is his chance. He's got a major, major chance now to do it.
Absolutely.
And I think Iglesias, the way he's going about things, I spoke to him yesterday in the paddock, it looks like he's going to grab this opportunity of both hands. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely, Chris. Still hard to say, of course, as we're early in the weekend. We shall see, you know, what kind of hierarchy we might have after the qualifying session, of course. That's still the first glimpse of what we can expect during the weekend. But as you said, Iglesias might be a good contender after his win. He's considered as the top favorite. But, you know, the gap in the championship, as you mentioned, is still very tiny after just one round. So, yeah, I wouldn't go, you know, too soon just to predict anything. But there's going to be an interesting battle where some of the drivers out of the podium at Salbris might get involved as well. If not for the victory, at least for the big points. Yeah.
Well, certainly there'll be no favouritism here. Of course, commentating for the weekend, myself and Guillaume enjoy seeing anyone who's going to win. But you can have your say. Let us know in the comments who you think should or who you want to take the title, and hopefully we can reflect on those a little bit later in the weekend. All right, let's move on to KZ2 then. A French domination at Salbris.
Absolutely, we had a top three on the podium on home soil with Adrien Renaudin in front of Pierre Loubert and Hubert Petit. So those three fellow countrymen have been absolutely impressive in France, of course, with Adrien Renaudin taking the lead out of the hands of Pierre Loubert, who was the fastest in qualifying. So shall we see once again the same scenario for this weekend? To me, that's unlikely, as we are in Italy, and a lot of Italian drivers, including Alessio Piccini or Riccardo Longhi, who were in the top 5 at Salbris, might have a big play in here on their own track, I would say.
Well, fast Italians we've got as well. Vigano, he was quickest in his session earlier. Renaudin has been very quick as well. He's had a second and a fifth. Riccardo Longhi was quickest in the second session. Hubert Petit, Pierre Loubert, mixed day for them so far. Petit's had a 12th and a 19th. Loubert a 5th and an 18th. So mixed so far, isn't it? And what about in terms of the championship?
In terms of the championship, of course, the ranking is the same as we had at Salbris with Adrien Renaudin having the lead with 35 points as we speak, 27 for Pierre Loubert, so a gap of 8 points between those two. Hubert Petit being in third position ahead of Piccini and Giacomo Polini. So still the gaps are quite interesting. So all the things can be turned around very quickly, as we know that points will be rewarded at the end of the qualifying heats, as well at the end of the final, which is the most important. So we shall see, but still the Frenchmen have shown the strongest pace so far. But I would go for the Italians on that one, as they're more than willing to show what they're capable of on home soil.
I mean, Renaudin, he finished so well at the end of last season. He always came in as one of the favourites personally to me, and he's looking so quick this weekend. But as you said, still wide open, only 8 points, and that's kind of the beauty of having just the 2 rounds in such a low scoring championship. But the times would suggest that it could go anyway at the moment. We went out to watch KZ2 earlier. It's going to be fantastic racing. They're just so quick through that first corner, aren't they?
The speed is really worrying sometimes, you know. They go so fast some corners, and the slide controlling their car is going to be absolutely massive. One good show that we can expect as well, Chris, is in the third category, the Academy Trophy. We had, let's be honest, one of the best car races that we've seen.
One of the best races ever in history, in my opinion. I haven't commentated on many, neither of yourself, but I think we both, in terms of any championships we've ever commentated on, we both said that's one of the best races I've ever seen. Fantastic, so many lead changes. I'd watch it back again. I think you should go and watch it back if you haven't seen it at home. It was absolutely fantastic. And I think we're going to see something similar here this weekend. The track layout would suggest that we're going to see something very similar. Talk us through some of the championship standings and Academy Trophy.
This is going to be very tight indeed as well in this category. The youngsters, of course, with Jose Maria Navalon-Boya, who was the first winner of a 3-round championship, is ahead of Kobe Powers, the Belgian, 4 points of a gap, and then Sami Megatonev in 3rd position. So those three might be good contention for one more win, as we're going to have one more round after Lonato in September in Belgium.
And of course, Boya, Pauwels in the last session was split by 200ths of a second. So those two will be going head to head, that's for sure. We've got the Italians on home soil, and they were in the top 10 back at Salbury. And I'm going to leave you with this. Me and Guillaume went out to check session 2 of the KZs. The top 16, I think it was split by less than 0.2 of a second. It's going to be absolutely fantastic this weekend. Make sure you tune in for our evening review show to find out what happened in qualifying. Thank you for watching.